I'll show you. Click Prefs right here. Up at the menu bar up at the top, it says About, Help, Code, Done, Report. You see the Prefs link? And then scroll down to the bottom. Have you spotted Prefs yet? Okay.
I'm already there.
You got it? Okay. And then you type in my email address and click Share. We all good? Okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to do 3 warm-up problems and 3 string problems. So click on this thing up here that says Coding Bat, Code Practice Again, or Coding Bat Home. And you'll see that there's a Java tab and there's a Python tab. And that's kind of cool. You could go back and learn Java from this as well. Probably better ways. And then there are these categories of problems. Warm-up, or simple warm-up problems to get started. No loops. And then string are string problems. We're going to do the first 3 warm-up problems in class and the first 3 string problems. And then I want you to do the next 3 warm-up and the next 3 string problems at home. And these are just little practice problems. So I clicked on Python, then I clicked on warm-up 1. And the first 3 problems are sleep in, monkey trouble, and sum double. We're going to click on sleep in. Now the way these are worded is a little bit weird. You just have to kind of look at it until you understand it. Look at this here. This function is defined and it accepts 2 parameters, one called weekday and one called vacation. Always look at this first, even before you come up and read the text. Alright, the parameter weekday is true if it is a weekday. And the parameter vacation is true if we're on vacation. We get to sleep in if it is not a weekday or if we're on vacation. Return true if we sleep in. So here's some examples. If we're not on vacation, which is that parameter, the second one, and it's not a weekday, that means it's a weekend and we get to sleep in. So here's that example. The next example, if they call it with true false, if weekday is true and we're not on vacation because vacation is false, we don't get to sleep in. Now there's always more than one way to solve one of these problems. But let's look at the rules. We get to sleep in if it is not a weekday or we're on vacation. Well, let's handle the vacation first.
Is there a reason it was well, mine says public Boolean.
That's because you went into the Java section rather than the Python section. So if vacation is equal to true, and by the way, if you ever write if vacation is equal to true, you can just write if vacation. It means the same thing. But I like seeing that equal true. Then return true. Else, and I don't even really need an else because if it hasn't returned by now, we're going to return a false. Now this is not the final answer, but it's a start. All we have handled is the vacation parameter, not the weekday parameter. So then we click Go. And it handled 3 out of the 4. What happened is when I clicked Go, wherever that was, yeah, Go, it ran it with different parameters. Now since there are 2 parameters, each one with 2 possible choices, true, false, that means there's 4 possible choices. And it worked for several of these, but it didn't work for one case. What's the one case? False, false. That meant that it was not a weekday and it was not a vacation. If it was not a weekday and it was not a vacation, we returned a false, but that was the wrong answer. We should have returned true. Why? Because if it's not a weekday, we're supposed to sleep in, huh? Yeah. So we're going to add another if. If weekday is equal to false, that means it's a weekend. Yay. Then we return true. And you can't hit the tab key in this one, so just space over, like 2 every time. And we could arrange this with elifs and stuff like that, but like I said, if you don't return here, then this is automatically an else. And if you don't return here, then this is automatically an else. So now I click go again, and I scroll over here, and it had all the choices. Now if I click show solution, it's going to show something much more concise, probably. Why is that? Because if you have two different choices here that do the same thing, you can link them up with an or. I could say if vacation is equal to true or weekday is equal to false, return true. That means the same thing as it did before, right? Because we're doing either one thing or the other. If it was and, we would only get to sleep in if we were on vacation and it was a weekday, which doesn't make sense. Now their solution shortens it down a bit, and just by a guess, I'm going to say if you ever see equal true, you can just delete that because that's assumed when you write if vacation. And if you compare something to false, you can just do that with the word not. You don't have to make these changes. I'm going to undo them. But there we go. That's a shorter version of it still. If vacation or not weekday, return true. It's just up to you whether you like to word it with these equals and trues and falses or not. I'm going to go back to the way I had it. And you can learn something by going over to show solution and see how they did it. I'm not going to spend time on that. Everybody get this one. Okay. Let's go to the next one. This one's called monkey trouble. Let's look at the definition. Here's a function called monkey trouble, and it's got two parameters, a smile and b smile. The reason I recommend reading this first is that it helps understand this block of text. We have two monkeys, a and b, and the parameters a smile and b smile indicate if each is smiling. We are in trouble if both monkeys are smiling, or if neither one of them is smiling. I guess if they're both smiling, they're up to some mischief. If neither one of them is smiling, they're both mad. In either case, we are in trouble. Return true if we are in trouble. And then they show some examples. If they're both smiling, it returns a true. If neither one is smiling, false, false, it returns a true. Otherwise, any other case, it returns a false. Now again, I'm going to do a longer version of it and then a shorter version of it. So if a underscore smile is equal to true and b underscore smile is equal to true, because they both have to be smiling for this, return true. We are in trouble. Then I'm going to stick a return false here at the bottom. You're always going to have some default case at the bottom. And it needs to be capital letters because we're not doing C++ or Java. Thanks.
Do you have to put the equal true for both a smile and b
No,
smile?
I could just do if a smile and b smile. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and put them back, but I've told y'all now that if you see equal true, you can just delete the equal true part and it means the same thing. Alright, this is not the final solution, but it gets us a good way there. It gets us the correct answer except in this case. If neither one is smiling, false, false, we return to false, but we should have done the opposite, which is return true. So we have to come over here and see why that is. Oh, that's because we only checked for trues. So let's stick another if case in there. If b smile is equal to false, excuse me, a smile. I mean, it doesn't matter which order, but and b smile is equal to false, then we're also in trouble. Okay, and that fixed it. When you get this one done, go ahead and skip to the next problem, read it, and start working on it. No, that's not true because I want to show you how to shorten this solution. What do you notice about this? If A smile is true, B smile is equal to true, return true. If A smile is false, B smile is equal to false, return true. What's a shorter way of writing this? If A smile is equal to B smile. Because if they're the same thing, we return true. So we could shorten this entire thing, if we had wanted to, by doing this. If A smile is equal to B smile, return true. We could have replaced both of those if conditions with one. Other things you can do to shorten it would be whenever you see equal, equal, false, you could instead put the word not in front of it, like that. If not A smile and not B smile. So just like you can remove the words equal, equal, true, you can remove the words equal, equal, false, but you have to put the word not in front of the variable. I'm going to undo that change.
If you try to run it with, like, if you just have if A smile and B smile equal true, then it'll, when you run it, it still says two of them are incorrect. If you, like, take that out and take the other one out, it'll still say two.
Right, that's not going to work. Why? Because this is only checking to see if they're true. What if you do if A smile equal, equal, B smile, though? That fixes it and it works. Because we want to return true if these things are equal to each other. If they're either set to true, true, or false, false. Either way. All right, check the next one out. I'm going to let you read it yourself and think about it. Now, it's a math one. It's not a logic one. It's got a little bit of logic, though. I'll work on it with you, but I want you to take a stab at it yourself first. So what's the big challenge? The big challenge is that we can't just do this, return A plus B. Why is that? Because it's got a condition there. It's got that unless. So we actually have to put this in some logic before we could do that. Have to write some kind of if statement. So, who's got an idea of what our if statement should be here?
If A equals B,
Right, because if the values are the same, then what do we want to do?
then
Return 2. Right, so if A is equal to B, return 2 times. Now we have to put the A plus B in parentheses. And if we didn't do that, we just want to return A plus B. I'm going to go take a look at the next three, make sure they're cool. The next one is called diff 21. Just remember how to get the absolute difference of a number. You know, you could do some variable like a is equal to the absolute value of n minus 21. That's how you take the difference. Just saying. So that's the fourth problem. That's not the whole answer, of course. We have a loud talking parrot. The hour parameter is the current hour time in the range 0 to 23. We are in trouble if the parrot is talking and the hour is before 7 or after 20. Return true if we are in trouble. Well, we could eliminate one of those completely right off the bat. If it's not talking, we're never in trouble. So we could just do at the very beginning of it, if talking equals false, return false. But then we have to do a little bit more logic after that. If the logic is, if the hour is before 7, so if hour less than 7, or hour greater than 20, return true. Okay, let's look at the last one. Given two ints, A and B, return true if one of them is 10, or if their sum is 10. Sounds like an if statement. If A is equal to B, return true. If A plus B equals 10, return true. That kind of thing. Okay, I don't think those next three are too hard. Everybody got that one about the sum double? No? Yeah. I forgot to save it, it looks like. Okay. So, if, this is the sum double one, if those numbers match, if A is equal to B, return their sum. No, return 2 times their sum. Else, and I'm not going to put the word else, not necessary in this case. Otherwise, just return A plus B. Everybody got that one right? So you've done the first 3. What I want you to do is go into a Word doc. And copy the source code.
From all 3?
Yeah, so here's the third one. I'm just going to copy it. It won't be saved until I hit go, so I went go. Paste that in. It doesn't really matter which order. There we go. There's one of them. Then I'm going to go back one to previous. I'm going to get that code and paste it. Then I'm going to get the next code, and you could paste them into a Python file, you know, rather than a Word doc. You could use idle and paste it. Probably would have been a better idea. It would look better. Then lastly, I've gotten 3 and 2, so I'm going to do another previous, go back and get 1. Copy my code out of there, paste it into the Word doc. Okay, so that's 3 of them. If you really want to work on making it pretty, you could reduce the spaces and all that, but I don't care. I can tell what they are. Okay, let's go look at the next set. I want to do the string problems. We're going to have to back out of where we were. So just click on the coding bat link up here, the big link. Now that we're at the main screen, it shows that we've done, oh, we're back into Java. I don't want to be in Java. I'm going to click on Python. It shows that I've done a couple of the problems. Frankly, I think it ought to show 3 stars rather than 2. I don't know why it's not. I'm going to go back in and peek. Oh, sleep in isn't checked. Why not? I guess I never clicked go after I made my changes to it. Now is it fixed? No. Do I have a problem over here? Oh, I do. I wrote this wrong. I hope y'all have it right. If we're on vacation or weekdays equal to false. Yeah, I think I was illustrating the use of the word not. Okay. Now I can go back and it'll show 3 stars. So you can see how many you've done in each section. So back out, click on Python, go to string 1. These are basic string problems. No loops. You use a plus sign to combine strings. We've done that. You use length, len, to get the number of characters. And you use slicing to get a substring. So we know how to do all 3 of those things. So let's look at hello name. Given a string name, that's all that's passed in as a parameter, is the name, return a greeting of the form hello, followed by the name, followed by an exclamation mark. So this one doesn't even have any logic in it at all. We just need to make a string and then return that. S is equal to hello, followed by a space, followed by the name, followed by an exclamation mark. That should meet the criteria. And I keep hitting Control S, and you don't hit Control S when you're in a browser window. Oh, and that failed completely. Why did that fail? I didn't return it. There we go. If I look at the hint, they probably just show not even storing it in S and then returning it directly. Yeah, see, they don't store it in S first and then return S. That's okay. Either one works. I know if you did it yourself, if your code doesn't exactly match the hint.
It says don't print. It says compute and return. Is what you put there, do you not have to put print around?
Right, we're not putting a print. I don't think that'll cause an error. But all it cares about it is if we return.
It says don't print.
If we run it, it says don't print, compute and return. So I'm going to take the print statement out. It's kind of like you were writing code for a Mars lander. You don't want the Mars lander landing code to be printing stuff. You just want it to be doing calculations and returning them. Same with your car engine, you know. It's got all these sensors and it's running code in it to manage it. But there's no screen to print to. So you're just performing calculations and returning them. We got that one? Anybody need fix? Go to the next one, eyeball it yourself. Given 2 strings, A and B, return the result of putting them together in the order of A, B, B, A. So we have a string A, we have a string B. So if, for example, it passes in what up, we want it to return what up what. Almost sounds like Pig Latin. If they pass in yo Alice, we want it to return yo Alice, Alice yo. So work on that one by yourself. And I see some people just sitting there. I hope that you've already got it done and aren't just waiting for me. I do want you to actually be trying it.
I didn't get my first one right.
Oh, well, let's go back.
Oh, I know what it was. Yeah,
And if there's space in between.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah, you needed a space.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, take the space out and then run it. And then come over here and you'll see what you are returning. Hello, Bob, but it doesn't look like that. Yeah.
So it doesn't count for the space like if you were putting the print.
Yeah, print automatically adds the spaces, but return does not.
So.
Okay, so this one's not really very hard. We could even do it in just one statement. We could return, but I like building the string and then returning it. That's the way my brain works. So if we're passed in A and B and we want it to make it say ABBA, we just make S equal A plus B plus B plus A. And then return S. And if you didn't get it right, you could look to see what they were expecting. For example, if we'd skipped part of it, like if we'd done return A plus B. Then when I run it, I go over here and I can compare. Here's what it wanted the response to be. Hi, bye, bye, hi. And here's what I returned. And I go, oh, I see what I did wrong. So you can run the results. You can look at the results over here and figure out what you did wrong. Uh-huh. You're probably in Java rather than Python. If you want to make that work, just put the word string with a capital letter in front of it, but then switch over to Python. No, you're in Python. Okay, get rid of this word. Sorry. Okay. S equals, and return S. But remember, the return statement has to be indented the same as the S. Okay, cool.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, good. I see people working on. Nope. Okay, so what's wrong with this? Here's what it wanted. It wanted hello space Bob. Here's what you're returning. You're returning hello Bob. What's the difference? No space. So go put a space after the word hello. Yeah, between the O and the Chloe. Just one back. Space. Yep, that way. It'll match exactly. Okay. So I see people looking at make tags. That's cool. We're not going to have any slicing for this one, but I'll demonstrate it here anyways. Well, yeah, we're going to do the first three, and then the next three are going to be homework. So you can work on them now if you wanted to. Okay. As a reminder, for slicing, in case you have to do them for the next three, I don't recall if you have to. Here's how you do that. Let's say the problem was return the first two letters of the string. So return first two letters of the string. What you do is, let's declare a string. That was our parameter. Hello. Now let's store the result in something to return. Let's say the parameter was W is equal to, and to do a slice, you use the square things, and then 0:2, meaning starting at position 0 and going up to but not including position 2. So that would get position 0 and position 1. So now W is equal to the first two characters, and we could do return W. That's how you do slicing. You don't have to do slicing for the next problem, but one of the next three maybe does, so we'll go eyeball them. So some of y'all are already looking at make tags. The web is built with HTML strings that look like this. That's a I, by the way, if you can't tell. Not a L or 1. So I, yay. These are known as tags, the things inside the greater than, less than. So they're going to pass us a word, and they're going to pass us a tag and we have to return something that's got angle braces around the tag, then it's got the word, then it's got another angle brace and a backslash, and then it's got the tag again. So if I just started off, S is equal to, what's the very first thing in my return string I need to do? What's the very first thing?
First things first.
I need to put that, right?
Yep.
So S is equal to an open angle plus, now like if they passed in the word site, we need to enclose the word site in angles. So I'm going to, whoopsie, come back up here. Tag. Now what do I need after I put the tag down? I need a close. And then what do I need? I put the actual word. Alright, now I need to do the angle brace stuff again. But this time not only the angle brace, but I have that backslash as well. And then inside the angle braces is going to be the tag again. And then I can return S. If I got it wrong, like I left off the backslash, I'm going to run it and see how wrong it is.
Oh.
So here it is without the backslash. It wanted tag, yay, tag with a backslash. But instead I just returned tag, yay, and then tag again. So I see I needed the backslash. I'm going to come back over here, put the backslash in, then I'm going to come. You had a hand raised, right?
Oh, no, I was stretching, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
Hey. Oh, okay. So now let's copy the code from these three. I'm going to leave this one on. Just copy those three things in.